Hey, what's up guys, it's T-Bone here and welcome back to another episode of playing Legendary Game of Heroes. So in today's episode, we're going to be taking on the Legend Trials boss using the full event deck, and we're going to be going up against Surtur, using 2 ultra rare cards, 1 Master Collection card, 1 event card, and 1 support card. I also have a total of 5 corrupt relics I'm using, but only one of them is from the actual event itself, and it's not enchanted. Now, it's not enchanted, so that means I don't get the actual tiles that you can create every 4 turns. It does make a little bit of a difference, especially in this fight with this particular team setup, as you'll see later on. Now, the first thing we're going to be doing is taking out the armor. So let's skip ahead a little bit until after we've already taken out the armor and see how much damage we can deal. So the first thing we're going to show here is right after this engagement, we're at about 455 intensity, and I have a total of 4 tiles I can create. And then after using up just 1 ultra rare card, it completely destroys everything, and I was only able to deal about 1.2 billion damage. Skip further a little bit more, now I have a full board full of Power Gen Force, and if we match everything, the total damage I was able to deal is about 14.6 billion, a little bit lower than I actually expected. So you basically continue to go, and notice at this point there is just a very limited number of celebration tiles remaining at this point. This is really sort of the challenge for this particular setup, and that is every time you use up the ultra rare card, the celebration tiles actually disappear, they get destroyed, and as a result of that, you need to build up again, and that takes up a lot of time. And so because of that, I could actually never really use my second ultra rare card to take advantage of the full deck itself. And so basically at this point, we're nearing the end of this particular fight, and I'm just going to show you sort of how I get to the end of here. And we're trying to get the last bit of the celebration tiles going, and I'm trying to activate everything, and finally I was able to maximize the number of celebration tiles I could have by activating everything there. But at this point I only was able to get 3, and the total damage I was able to deal for this entire fight itself was 87 billion in my first attack. Let's skip forward and use a second team here that contains just 1 ultra rare and 1 event card. And again, we're going to skip forward a little bit to right after the armor is complete. And you can see there's actually a very big difference here. The reason for that is because I could actually activate 3 of those celebration tiles each time, and by having the extra 1, I could build up more, and I'm able to get my Master Collection cards ability going faster, and so I could build more. And so that made a big difference. It made it a lot easier to do. But how does it actually work when you go a little bit further on? And you can see here that after going with intensity 600 or so, getting everything all matched up is still close to about 134 multiplier. A total damage was only 15.2. Not a whole lot compared to the previous fight using the previous team. And again, because there's no damage, there's no unlimited damage, you are really capped the damage here, and you can see the damage later on actually is a little lower at 14.2. It all depends on the actual number of celebration tiles that you have and how many you can actually activate using the ultra rare. So with the intensity going high above 1,000 or so, I'm able to get rid of most of them. But at this point, the final damage I was able to deal for this particular boss was at 104, so just slightly better than the first engagement. And so that was a little bit disappointing, and so what I wanted to do was try out a different boss, and I used a different deck, and I'm using my Thoth deck for this purpose to test out what the difference would be using a different team. Now, the reason why I chose this team is because the fact that it's a very fast damaging team. I can go really quickly, and it's easy for me to use a clock stopper here. So you can see how the first attack is 11.2, a little bit lower than the other deck earlier. But what you'll notice here is this particular deck has an advantage in that it does have a boost to your damage based on intensity. So if we keep going here, what I want to show here is just how fast I'm able to build up my particular board full of gems and how I can use the clock stopper to actually stop the clock from going and then keep that cadence going. The challenge with the previous water deck is that I couldn't really use a clock stopper very effectively using the team because I'm always short on celebration tiles. And so I probably could have brought in a card to stop the clock, but then I would have less damage overall because I would have less power gems to generate. And so with this particular deck though, with Thoth, I'm able to go a lot faster. Even though my damage earlier on was a little bit less, I'm actually able to deal a bit more damage overall. And you can see that I'm able to sort of keep going with this. And as the fight goes on, now I'm getting up to 16.2 billion with this particular fight. And you can see I'm going to reset again, get my battle skill going, get all of the matches going, and then fill up the board full of power gen force again. And at this point, I'm not even using Yesa anymore to generate the heart gems because it already is there on the board. And so with this particular match, I'm able to deal a total of 18.4 billion, which is the highest damage that I actually had up to this point from all of the fights, all the bosses we had so far. And so with this, I'm able to deal a total of 208 billion damage to the boss using that team. And so the way I feel about this right now is that this event deck, while it was fun in its event, unfortunately, when it comes down to a big boss like the Legend Trial boss, it just showed that it's a little bit weaker because of a couple of factors. One is because it doesn't have uncapped damage. And two, because the celebration tiles are actually really hard to replenish once you've already used them all with a ultra rare card. So the number of celebration tiles is key here, and because it takes time to replenish them, you're losing precious time to deal rapid succession damage to take out the boss, which other decks are more efficient at. So having gone through this exercise, I definitely will be trying different decks to take out the Legend Trial boss. And hopefully this has been useful information for you. Hopefully you've enjoyed the new format. I tried editing the video a little bit differently. Let me know your thoughts and let me know your feedback below. Again, appreciate all of the comments so far and all of your support. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time in the deck preview video for the next event. Take care.